You're watching DBS.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you doing? If you can't tell that I'm excited, then shame on you. I'm your girl, Dr. Tongie, and on this show, of course, you know me as Tongie and family. Welcome to another episode of Talk to Tongie, the space where purpose meets possibility and real conversations turn into real change. I am really excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm honored. If you cannot tell, then shame on you, that you allowed me in your ear gate, you allowed me in your heart gate, and you allowed me into your homes. Thank you so very much. Before we dive into tonight's powerful show, I want to take a moment to share something personal. I recently had an opportunity to take a life-altering journey, and my daughter and I went to Cape Town and Johannesburg, South Africa. Hence the amazing piece that I have on from an amazing award-winning South African designer, Elegant Dolls. I hope I did that right. And let me tell you that my soul will never be the same. While in Cape Town, I visited the Delft Township, and this is a community that still bears the scars of systemic racism, apartheid, inequality. And then in Johannesburg, I had the sacred privilege of walking through the Soweto Township, where history cried out, seriously, on every corner. I stood in the shadows of the Apartheid Museum and I cried like a baby. I really did. I thought I'd be strong, but I was not. I touched the earth, and this is where children marched for freedom, where families were torn apart and people were separated simply for existing in black skin. Apartheid wasn't just a system, it was a spiritual war against identity, against belonging, against hope. But what amazed me was the people that I had an opportunity to love on and tell them that I love them and just kind of sit and listen to their stories. And these were people that were they're resilient. They reminded me of the people right here on this amazing island. They really did. And it reminded me also that pain is not the end of our story. Purpose is. Which brings me to tonight's guest, who is a woman who has turned passion into movement. She serves with the servitude of the leadership spirit. Or should I say the spirit of leadership? Because this woman is unmistakably designed for what she is doing. She has a foundation called the Do Nation Foundation, and I was privileged to be in her purview a few years ago, and she is constant. She is the same. She really is. She has a heart for people. She provides one act of kindness to everybody all at the same time, if that makes any sense. I swear to you, she is a woman on a mission. She has the trajectory of love. She just embodies everything that you could even imagine, seriously, for a CEO and founder of such an amazing organization. I was saying to her, now, Diane, tell me how to pronounce your name. She said Felician. Yeah?
Yes.
I did it right, baby. So without further ado, Talk to Tongie family, please welcome this amazing soul, Miss Diane Felician.
Yes, Felician. Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Wow. You know, I right before we came on, I told you that you're the reason why I love having cupcakes baked, and I take them over to my babies over at the RC Infant School. Y'all better be watching. You better have been paying attention to your teachers all weekend, your administrators. But it was because of you, and you reminded me that you did that on my birthday.
Yes.
Wow. And you have literally changed my life. You really, really have. And it is such an honor and privilege to have you here. So, what is the DO-NATION Foundation? How did you get here? And baby, just who are you?
Well, Diane Felician, humble servant of St. Lucia. DO-NATION Foundation actually started from my life as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. In terms of what I went through, in terms of the social ills that we see happening in society, the rape, the divorce, the suicide attempts, the running away from home, the high school dropout, is actually my life. And this is why DO-NATION Foundation started, because I wanted to make a difference in their lives, or to assist people who went through or who are going through these situations. Most times we see that, you know, some of the initiatives that are happening is basically to place a band-aid over the wound. But what we're doing at DO-NATION Foundation is to dig deep in terms of what is causing a lot of the issues that we're seeing are happening. What is causing the poverty? What is causing the rape? What is causing the divorce? How can we make a difference to assist young people, or to assist not just young people, but the grown-up people? How could we assist them, or basically to help them along this journey? Because we cannot save everybody. However, we can assist people who are going through the situation and to guide them. And most times you have people who tend to understand and who tend to get connected to people who can say, I have been there. And I am proud because that is the product of where I'm coming from, to say that I have been there. I understand. I know how you're feeling, and that is what DO-NATION Foundation is about, and to basically see how we can collaborate and make a difference in St. Lucia.
Wow. My Lord, you are doing it, and you're doing it in volumes. You really, really are. What is your why? You told me what you do, but why do you do it? Why is it necessary for you to want to hold someone else's ladder? Why? What's your why?
My why is, you know, in my life, I did have, or I continue to have people hold my ladder. And my why is that I want to assist people who are going through the situations, to let them know that there is hope. Where you come from does not determine where you're heading. And that is my why for DO-NATION Foundation. And that is my why for everything that we do, not just in St. Lucia, in the region and internationally, to show people that there is hope. There are people who love. There are people that, despite whatever you may have gone through in your life, it can be turned around.
Ooh, St. Lucia. Oh my God, you guys are in for a treat this evening. We just getting started. They've already told me I got to go for a break, so I need you to just stay tuned, all right? We'll be right back right after this quick break. We are back. Thank you again so very much. We are live on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok family, for tuning in to us. I am so excited that you're here. I love you. I really, really do. She does too. All right, now, I've got some specific stories here. You know, I did a little homework on you, lady. You've got volumes of information out there, and your heart is so big. It really, really is. In particular, I read that the bread bag that changed the family. Do you remember that? You remember that? Tell me about the time you delivered groceries to a family. And I think the family hadn't eaten, and some, you know what? You tell the story. Tell me about that time.
Yes, there was a time, you know, that there was a family who hadn't eaten. They had not have lunch. They were basically thinking of what they were going to have for lunch. And they reached out, and I was like, we don't have anything within the organization right now. So what I did basically was to put a message in the WhatsApp group for all our volunteers. And I said, I need to, or we need to feed a family urgently. They need gas, they need groceries. We need to feed a family urgently. And what happened is that, you know, we said whatever you have, it could be a packet of lentils, it could be a pound of flour, a tin of tuna fish, whatever you have, we would like to get it. And we actually got a hamper within the volunteers, and we were able not just to deliver a hamper, but to deliver a hamper along with a tank of gas so that that family can have lunch.
You know.
Yes. And of course, we didn't know who the family was.
No way.
We did not know who we were going to. We just, you know, asked for directions, and we just got there and gave them the tank of gas and the groceries.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Love and action, baby. Now,
Yes.
tell me, if you will, I'm telling you, man, I've got specific stories on you tonight. Tell me about the forgotten elderly. I was reading that there was a convalescent home that you had, a person that was living there, and you bought the person supplies. Wow, man, you're incredible. Would you tell me about that story?
Normally, when you are on the grounds, you get to learn about a lot of situations. You get to see a lot of things happening. I can remember having a situation on the east coast of the island where we were actually going to deliver some hampers. And when I got there, the only thing I could have done with the hamper on my head is to sit and cry. Because, of course, there was a husband and a wife. They were living in the house together. And they needed more than just the hamper or just the groceries. They needed a home. Because, you know, the condition in which the house was, it was not fit for anyone to be living there. They were basically, yes, the structure of the house was there, but, you know, it was just on the dirt. The toilet and everything was, you know, they were right there. And it was really heartbreaking. And I can remember that incident where I actually sat with the hamper on my head and just started crying. And one of the things that really stands out in terms of us helping the elderly is that most times either they don't have children or they don't have the family support to take care of them. So one of the things that we do, and we work closely with the Sustainable Development Goals, and that's leave no one behind, irrespective of who they are. And we always want to ensure that we take care of our elderly. Our elderly, they are the ones who paved the way for us, and we need to ensure that they are taken care of. And there are so many other situations where, you know, we have gone out to help the elderly. We have gone out, you know, to make sure that they have a wheelchair, to ensure that they have the resources or what is needed, medication, what is needed, and we continue to do that.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. I'm getting goosebumps here. I really, really am. You really are an
So you did your homework.
You know I did, girl. I got one more now. I got one more. There was a teen with a backpack dream. You remember that teen? You remember that? This student received a backpack, and you had something specific in that backpack. I know, right? I know. Would you talk on that, please?
I am trying. There are so many different scenarios, so I'm trying to remember which one of them. But I know for sure there was a team or some students who basically had to get some things to go over to the school, and we did not tell them what it was, but everything that they needed was in that backpack. There was another, I'm sure that maybe you might not remember, but I'm going to speak about it, where you assisted us, where it was with the BTC, where we had a young man who was selected to go over to Grenada. And of course, we were able, along with your help, to get him the suit that he needed to be a presenter. And of course, we continue to go out and see how we could uplift our young people, and how our young people, they are the futures. So the same way we have the elderly preparing for us, we need to prepare for the young people as well, to make that way. So we continue to look for ways. We continue to surprise our young people. We continue to put things in their baskets, and not just things in their basket, but we continue to educate them and prepare them for the future ahead. So there are so many different situations that I can speak of, but I can remember what you said, where we put basically everything that they needed in that bag, and it took the individual to a place where they felt like they were loved, because without that it would not be possible to get to where they were going, and we ensured that it happened. And of course, I can remember this young man again, being part of, you know, an institution where there is a lot of stigma, that with your help we were able to help him to go across to Grenada and have the suit that he needed, and the shoe that he needed, and the tie that he needed, and he really stood out and continued to play his part in society.
Oh my God. Yes. Shame on you, girl. No crying and no sweating on the show tonight, Tongie. I remember that, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. That really was a blessing for me and for him, and you know, for all of us involved. What moment, Diane, what moment made you cry and say, this is what I'm supposed to do?
Like I spoke about my life and everything that I went through. I was involved in a lot of charity organizations. I was actually the president of the St. Lucia Crisis Center. I served a few years with the NCF, which is the National Community Foundation. I also served at the community level. And I worked within the hospitality industry for over 21 years.
Wow.
And with government for about 2 to 3 years. However, I believe that when I decided that this is my calling was when I spoke to a friend and I said I would like to start Donation Foundation. I believe that this is what, you know, with all what I've been involved with, I can make this difference. And I went and I spoke to my husband, and he said, you should do it.
Wow.
And I continue to see ways as to why this is my calling. I remember getting a prophecy that I'm going to be a mother of nations. And not just on one occasion, on 2 occasions from 2 different people.
Yeah.
I remember that, you know, a lot of the things that I saw happening in life, it was basically I was being placed in a position where I had to make a difference. Also, I believe that God had to take out certain people, certain relationships, certain positions, certain jobs to direct me into where he wanted, which is to be a servant to the people. Wow. And when I decided, when I saw it was my calling, there was a day that I decided that, you know what, I'm not going to do charity work anymore. I believe it's taking too much on me. I believe that it is just not, you know, not for me. And I remember going to church that day because I believe that I have gotten a lot of messages for churches.
Okay.
And I remember going to church one day, and I was sitting at the front, and I was part of the organization, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give up. And the pastor stood up and he said, there is somebody like Peter who is leading an organization but wants to give up.
Oh, stop that.
Yes. And I'm saying to that person, do not do like Peter. Have faith and walk on that water and continue to lead the organization. And all I did was, I said, did you all speak to the pastor and said that, you know, that I want to leave? And they said no. And I said, but why is the pastor speaking to me? Why is the pastor saying that, you know, just like Peter, you are leading an organization and you want to give up? And I looked at it and I said, you know, that is a sign that you need to go on. And there was another time again, I went to church, and again, the pastor said, another pastor, he said that there is somebody who loves somebody else more than God himself. And God is going to take that person away from you. Because God needs you to focus on him and what he wants you to do. And that night I lost my dad.
Jeez.
So I keep on getting the messages directly, either through the church or through song or through people that I meet. And I believe that this is my calling because every time I get that message, it happens. And I believe that God had to basically take off my father, whom I treasured very much.
Yeah.
He had to take off, you know, and give me this husband to support and push my journey. I believe that this is what he had to do. I believe that he had to take me off from the hospitality industry so that I can focus on the charity organization and give that 150%. And that is why I know that this is my calling. This is what I am supposed to do. This is what that I was made to be. I believe that all of the situations that I went through was to prepare me for where I am now.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, you said a mouthful. You do know that, right? And I'm listening to you, and I'm just in the crevice of my own mind thinking, compassion costs. It costs you something, right?
Yes, it does.
Your ability to have that kind of relationship with God is just paramount. It is. And we talked a little bit about having relationship versus religion, and we said it is definitely a relationship that you have.
Yes.
Would you speak on the spiritual aspect of your giving? Because you don't just give, you are, I called you you have the spirit of leadership, and we understand that the spirit is a realm in and of itself. What is the feeling, for lack of a better word, with what is your perspective? Thank you. Your perspective on your giving in a spiritual realm. You don't just meet a person's need, the basic needs. You give them so much more. Is that part of what you do? Is that a part of your giving aspect, to not just feed the body and the soul, but the spirit as well?
I believe that in order to assist somebody, you have to reach them in every single aspect. And that comes spiritually as well. Because sometimes they don't need anything from you physically, but they need that support, that emotional support, that spiritual support, just to get that message across to them and to give them hope. And most times when I go out, even before we start our activities, I always say, Lord, you direct the path. You decide what should happen. I am just leaving it up to you. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to, and you decide what happens. And one of the things that I notice is that a lot of people, they get connected. It's just like, I don't know, but I have been in situations where I am just sitting at a table, and people would say, my mind just told me to just come and have a conversation. And it's not like people that I know. For sure. It's people that I don't know, and they just come and they just have the conversations and they just open up. And I said, why did you choose me to speak to me? And they're like, because my heart, my mind just tell me to just come across and have a conversation with you. And I believe all of that is part of the purpose. It's most times that people look at you and they look at you as maybe somebody of hope, somebody that could help them. And I believe that is something that is not just placed on anybody, but something that God designs, and he has that way of speaking to people. And I believe that he directs certain people in my position, so either I could in my way, so either I could help them, or they can help me achieve what I'm supposed to achieve in terms of helping other people.
Oh, Miss Diane, we just getting started. I need to take a quick break, but you are truly transformative. You really, really are. And it is truly an honor to have you sitting right there in this studio. We're going to be right back with more of this amazing woman, the DO-NATION Foundation founder. Stay tuned. Be right back. We are back. Thank you so very much for just being here. I was talking to my TikTok family just a second ago and thanking them, and I am truly grateful that you're here. I never ever want to take your being here for granted or lightly. I know that this is Jazz Weekend and you're getting ready for that, and you're getting ready for Mother's Day, so you got a lot going on, and for you to take time to be here with us, thank you. Now, we're here with this amazing soul, Miss Diane Felician. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah, man. And she is the founder and CEO of DO-NATION Foundation, and they're doing some things not just on this island, but in this region and around the world, man. They are. I want to talk, if I can, about obstacles that you had to use your faith and fortitude to get through, because your story has a lot of glory, and we celebrate the glory.
Yes.
But when you roll up your sleeves and you've said yes to him and yes to his people and yes to his way, and kind of put yourself out there as a servant leader, that comes with some obstacles. It does.
Yes, it
Would
does.
you speak on, if you will, about how you've had to use your faith and fortitude to come through some things?
Yes. As in anything, there are obstacles. And one of the things some of the things that I had to deal with is how people look at charity organizations, how people look at persons who do charity work, how other organizations or corporate society gaining their trust in terms of assisting for the work that you do, in terms of having a number of hurdles like dealing with people and their attitudes and people not really believing in what you are doing. So like I say, you know, whilst there are obstacles, there is always something to help you go over that hurdle. And the obstacles that I would think that I would face is not one with volunteerism. I think that I have gotten a lot of volunteers. Every single day I get persons wanting to be part of this movement, in terms of persons believing in you and what you are trying to do. You also have people taking advantage of you as well, in terms of your giving, in terms of, you know, your heart, in terms of the way that you look at certain things. People try to take advantage of you, take advantage of the organization, take advantage of the situation that they are in. And these are some of the obstacles that you have to deal with. I believe the biggest obstacle that I have to deal with is that most times when people see you help other people, or people see that you are out there doing things, they look at it that you know, that you have, you know, that you have unlimited resources.
For sure.
So I think that is one of the biggest obstacle.
Gotcha.
Is that when you go out there and you do things, and most times you have to go out there and you beg. I call myself a professional beggar.
Oh, Connie, you're more than
yes,
that.
because you know, you have to go out there, you have to beg.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, you have to continue convincing people so that you could get them on board and to understand what you are doing. So I would say these are the challenges that we've had. In terms of getting a home for the foundation, we were very fortunate. So we do have a home for the foundation. In terms of getting recognition, you know, we do get recognized for the work that we do. So I would say that these are some of the obstacles in terms of people taking advantage of you and the organizations, people taking advantage of the situation. And, you know, these are some of the obstacles. But I believe that every obstacle, there is always a way to get over it. Now, sometimes as soon as you get over it, you might get one that's even higher.
Yeah.
But, you know, you still get ways that you can get over these obstacles. Yes.
I absolutely love that. And I definitely know a thing or two about going from faith to faith, to glory to glory.
Yes.
So I get that. I really, really do. How does St. Lucia, we are, what, 197,000 folk, if that many, right? Our little nation. It's a beautiful nation, by the way. How do St. Lucians show up? And how can we do more?
St. Lucians are normally people that are giving. St. Lucians are normally people that like to assist, because we are known for our term we call kudme. And kudme is basically assisting your neighbor. Not expecting anything. It's basically a form of volunteerism. So St. Lucians are known for that. However, what we need to have is to have more families and communities come together. We have seen over the years that our spirit of volunteerism and community is slowly on a decline. But we need to go back to that spirit of assisting or being our neighbor's keeper, or being, going back to it takes a village to raise a child. And I think that what we have done is that we have lost some of it, and we need to basically come back to that. In terms of helping out, you know, it could be, you know, as little as a can of orange juice, or sometimes, you know, we see the what we call the homeless people. on the streets, you know, sometimes they just need somebody to care for them, and not just basically care for them, but, you know, to give them a bottle of water, to have a conversation with them, you know, and what we tend to see is that a lot of our people, especially with the homeless people on the streets, we see a lot of them being victimized, a lot of them being, you know, violated. And we as St. Lucians, I believe that we need to come together and see how we could curb that situation in terms of our homeless on the streets, being injured. We've known of situations where one of our homeless people was burnt with acid. Jeez. You know, and all of these things. So it's a way for us to come back as a people, to love our brothers and sisters irrespective of where they are, show them that love and that comfort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I want those that are watching tonight, I want you to do me a huge solid, as we would say in Mississippi. Ask yourself this: what's one small way I can become a donation in motion? And I'm really serious about this. Just take 30 seconds, write it down, and meditate on it. I'll ask the question again. What's one small way I can become a donation in motion? Take 30 seconds, write it down, and meditate on it. Thank you so much. Now, back to you. There's some wonderful things that are coming up for you and this amazing foundation. Would you share on a couple of things that just kind of transpired?
Sure. I am actually the Good Deeds Day leader for St. Lucia and the Caribbean. Good Deeds Day is actually an international movement. It is in 115 countries. And of course, myself and the Miss Elvina Emmanuel, who is the Miss Good Deeds Day pageant winner for 2024, will be going to Togo in Africa. So we'll be going to Togo in Africa, and basically to be part of that community and to give back when it comes to volunteerism and doing good. The message that we push with Good Deeds Day is to think good, speak good, and do good. And of course, you know, being, you know, being the driving force of Good Deeds Day in the Caribbean, Donation Foundation is really recognized for the work that we do when it comes to Good Deeds Day. I was also 2 to 3 weeks ago appointed as the ambassador for St. Lucia for the Global Awards. That again is another international organization from the UK where persons from the Caribbean and the diaspora is recognized for their community work and their voluntary work that they do. I actually received an award last year from the Caribbean Global Awards for the service leadership. And I received an award last year, and this year I was appointed as the Global Ambassador for St. Lucia.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You know, there is still great things happening. Over the weekend I will be traveling. I was selected by the United Nations to participate in a forum, and you know, the work that we do it continues to be recognized not just in St. Lucia but regionally and internationally. And Donation Foundation continues to be an organization that gives back, and we believe that we need to do a lot more. There is a lot more that is needed to be done in St. Lucia. There is a lot more that is needed to be in the done in the Caribbean, and there is a lot more that is needed to be in the world, to be done in the world. One of the things that we strongly believe in is SDG number 17, which is partnership for the goals. We cannot do it alone. We need to partner. We need to partner with the government. We need to partner with corporate society, other NGOs, communities, citizens, schools, everybody. We need to come together so that we can make a difference in St. Lucia and the world.
Oh my God, woman. Oh. What, talk about a call to action.
Yes.
That right there is just, it speaks volumes of really who you are and what you're doing and the people that hold your ladder.
Yes.
You've got a lot of ladder holders,
I
don't
have
you?
a lot of ladder holders. I have a lot of ladder holders. I would not be who I am now. I always continue to be thankful for the husband that I have.
Yes.
I believe that he is the one who's really holding the ladder steadily, but I actually have a lot of women, I have a lot of mentors, I have a lot of other organizations that work alongside Donation Foundation, who believes in Donation Foundation. We have the International Good Deeds Day Director and the International Good Deeds Day movement that continues to push and continue to believe in what we are doing for St. Lucia and the world. And of course, we have the Global Awards Ambassador Director, who truly believes in the work that I'm doing in St. Lucia, and that is why she selected me to be the ambassador for St. Lucia and of course the wider Caribbean. We also have, well, Dr. Tongie, you know, you are no stranger. Even when we just started, you know, you were there for us, you believed in us, you believed in the work that we did, and you continue to believe in the work that we do. And we have a lot more people like you. We have a lot more partners. I think that if I have to mention everybody's name, we're going to be there for the entire night.
For sure.
But we have a lot of people that support us and believe in the work that we do. We continue to see an increase in terms of not just collaborations from St. Lucia, but international collaborations, you know, people wanting to work with us at Donation Foundation. We continue to see an increase in the support from corporate society. We continue to see an increase in the support from government, from other organizations, from schools. And we are very grateful for the support, and we continue to push harder. Because of course there is a lot of work to be done.
For sure. Wow. You know, I'm sitting here and I'm just taking these mental notes. Yep, man, he's about to tell me to take a break. Dadgummit. So right after this, right before this, I want to leave this with you, and then we're going to go to break. Would you please send the name of someone in your community who is quietly serving? Tonight you can honor one person from the Donation team, or even a past volunteer on her behalf. Someone that's worked with this amazing organization and that's doing things in the marketplace. And we'll reach out to them and get them on the air. How about that? Stay tuned. We'll be right back with this incredible soul right here. Be right back.
Let your heart settle. Let your mind listen. Kindness is a language the soul understands.
We are back again. I am just bursting from the scenes, man, and I'm so grateful. I truly am. I'm just gonna keep saying it until I turn blue in the face. I'm grateful that you allowed us to be in your presence this evening, and we're hanging out and having a conversation with a woman who literally she reminds me of past leaders like a Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. King, and those who have just come and, like you said earlier, paved the way.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke on your husband, and we talked about him holding the ladder, but you know, to whom much is given, much is required. How do you, and there's, I don't want to say balance, because there's no such thing as balance. You just get in there and you roll up your sleeves, but how has he truly made a difference in the trajectory that you have gone in and where you're going? How has he made that difference?
My husband has really made the difference. One, he's always there with me.
Yeah.
He's always there. He's always supportive. He may not be in the forefront, but he would be in the back seat waiting. He would be there assisting at most of the volunteer activities. If in case he's not at work, he's there.
Yeah.
If in case he's not there, he would find other ways to support and really continue to be my cheerleader, to be my critic as well. And he would continue to look for ways, and even when he knows about certain situations, he would let me know as to how can we help, you know, a certain situation. So he's basically like the backbone. He's the cheerleader. And of course I balance it by, you know, sometimes I have to make husband time.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
I have to make husband time, but I do balance it. It balances off very well, because the fact is he is involved in everything that I do. He is part of it. He is normally, you know, involved in the activities. If it's not assisting with the setup, assisting with the breaking down, or assisting in the activity itself.
Yeah.
There was the activity we had in Viewfort where we were handing off, you know, giving away clothing, and he was part of it. And he was part of it, calling people and say, come and get the clothing, you know, and come and be part, you know, it's free, you could have it. And he is basically involved in that way. So one, he is involved in the organization, and the other one, he's my cheerleader from, you know, from behind.
Oh my God! You remind me so much of a guest that we had, Mr. Darren Sammy. How you doing, sir? Who talked on how he's able to do what he does because his wife is there, and he has a praying mom, and they work collectively, and it just kind of gives him that thrust to go. So you are definitely blessed and very fortunate to have someone that sees the big picture, you know. That's important. It really
is very important,
especially doing the work that you do.
It is very
it would be very difficult to be out here on the forefront if it's not kind of at home, is not smooth sailing, right? Wow. So how can people support or join in this Do Nation movement? How can they lend a hand?
There are various ways that, you know, persons can help a hand in terms of, or lend a hand, sorry, to Do Nation Foundation. You know, there are persons may say that I'm not able to volunteer, but there are various ways that they can volunteer. There are various services that, you know, they can offer, whether it's online counseling, whether it's, you know, they could volunteer online. They don't have to literally be there in person. Also, they can donate to some of the initiatives that we have. You know, we have the Empower Her, which is an initiative on climate action and gender-based violence. We are working with the young ladies from the vulnerable, from the rural areas, sorry. We also have the SWAG initiative, which is the Smart, Worthy, Ambitious Girls. We are working with girls from the age of 9 to 17. So of course we continue to need mentors, we continue to need resources, because again, these are girls from the rural areas, and not just the rural areas, but these are girls who are coming from broken homes, broken families. So we continue to need various kinds of supports. If there are doctors, and there are doctors that can work closely with us, you know, we do have women, we do have girls, we have men as well who need these services, and you know, they can do that as well. We also have the Fathers Rise initiative that is speaking to men. It is working with father figures, or father figures. It could be brothers, uncles, fathers, stepfathers, cousins. It's just men. And what it is that what we have seen is that there is a shift because of our society expectations of men. So we are trying to see how we could get men to come back and take their rightful place when it comes to the home, when it comes to the communities, when it comes to them being the leaders. And we have this initiative. We also have the Engendering Change project. It is a project on gender-based violence, in terms of educating people on the services that are available, on the various forms of gender-based violence. And of course, we have the Good Deeds Day initiative, where we continue to go out to the schools. We have the Little Good Deeds Day Club. We are working with students from the ages of 4 to 14, and that is instilling the values of volunteerism from a tiny age. So we do have these initiatives. We also have, where we give out the hampers, we give out, so many different things, because people needs, it varies from community to community. So we are always in need of something. So it could be by donating groceries, by donating clothes, by donating financial assistance, by sponsoring, any way that they can feel free to do so. We are actually on Instagram, donation_758. We can be contacted there, or we are on Facebook, Donation Foundation. Again, we could be contacted here. Or we could be emailed at donationfoundationslu@gmail.com. So we welcome any support. It doesn't have to be all financial, but it could be whatever services that you could render, whether you're a nurse, a doctor, a teacher, a police officer, a carpenter, a mason, a plumber, whatever you are. We need the services because we continue to help people who have various needs throughout the community.
Oh my God, please sign me up. Please sign me up, Diane. However you need me, I am there, and I mean that. And you hear that, right? So you're my litmus test, and I said it. You heard that right, TikTok. I am so serious. Wow. Tonight we've seen what it looks like when compassion becomes a calling. Yes. Diane Felicion.
Yes.
And the Donation Foundation reminds us that purpose is not always grand. It's often a gentle whisper.
Yes.
To care. In a world that can feel divided and distracted, let us be the ones who return to the basics, feeding the hungry.
Yes.
Uplifting the low and loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. You do not need a platform to make an impact. All you need is a willing heart.
Yes.
And open hands. Be the miracle in someone else's story. Be a donation in motion. Yes. Right?
Yes.
All right, my lovely. What would you like to see? What would you like to see your legacy be? You're doing some amazing things in the marketplace. You're shifting minds. You're changing people's lives. You are. What does Diane want to see next?
What I want to see is a better world. And one of the things that I believe in is succession planning. I want to see the work that I'm doing now continue even when I've gone through the great beyond. So what I am basically doing is grooming leaders like myself, young people, to take over when I am no longer available on this earth. And this is what I would like to see, a better world.
Yeah.
And of course the work of Donation Foundation continuing even when I'm gone.
Wow.
So that is what I am working towards.
He's standing there saying break time. Dadgummit. I love him though. I do, Mr. Kendrick Williams. You're doing it, baby. We'll be right back with closing remarks. I hope that this show has inspired you in some kind of way to take action. Again, you don't need a platform to get busy. You just need open hands. You really, really do. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I am called to care. I am called to give. I am called to love without condition, without limit.
We are back, just hanging out with my TikTok family. Hello, family. My DBS family, and all of those who are tuning in to hear a remarkable story come to life. I cannot say enough about this woman, what she means not only to me, but everyone that she comes in contact with. It's not easy, you know, when you're just kind of going about your business, just taking care of your business, right? And then God taps you on the shoulder and says, "Are you ready?"
Yes.
And you're like, huh? Yes. So with that responsibility comes me time. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes we get so wrapped up in the service that we forget that we're part of the story too.
Yes.
What is it that you like to do when you're not out with hampers on your head and groceries in your bag and with words of wisdom to those who are in need of that? What is it that Diane likes to do?
I like to travel. I consider myself to be one. Whenever I'm on island, I don't stop. So in order for me to get a break, I like to travel. I like to go, you know, watch the sunset, sit by the beach, meditate, and just take in nature. And that is basically what I enjoy doing, in terms of taking in nature, relaxing, watching some television. Yeah. But basically, this is what I like to do when it comes to the me time. Yeah. And normally I might say there is a me time, and you know, any call, anything that I get, there is no more me time. Yeah. But as much as possible, I try to take the me time.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. Because that's really, really important. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I have truly gleaned from you. I'm sitting here like a little kid, man, all smiles, but just writing in the crevices of my mind, how can I be a better person? Because that is what you do. You just come in and you shift the atmosphere in a room, and you make people want to do more and be more. Yeah. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you so much for just saying yes to the call. Yes. Thank you for every tear you cried. Thank you for every sigh. Thank you for every time you got on your knees and asked, "Why, Lord?" Yes. Thank you so much for being the best part of this incredible island that I get to call home. Thank you so, so very much. You truly are a blessing. You are. Family, that's the show. I have truly enjoyed it being here. I am tickled pink. Until next time, I need you to keep moving forward, keep living on purpose, okay? And remember, your compassion is someone else's answered prayer. Thank you, Linda, for being so incredibly generous, for creating a space where stories can be told, and people that ordinarily wouldn't have a spotlight got a chance to be in the spotlight. How about that? Good night to my bun. Good night, Kaden and Kendrick and Idris. Good night, Fran, Tron, and what's my other child? Morgan. Until next time, the Lord say the same and the creek don't rise. I love you. Be the difference in someone else's life. Thank you. Good night. Good night, TikTok.